just like last time, we're going to start with things that aren't really oddities. So this box isn't an oddity yet, but I intend to put an oddity inside of it. I don't know what yet, maybe a small skull or something like that. This, it looks like he's getting really dusty. Yeah, this is by Buddha figurine that you may remember from the last one. He is a burgundy color and he was only $3. Well, that's the other thing. I also got new things since that video, so there'll be more things to see. This is my message in a bottle set. It comes with little tiny seashells and some wood, the paper to write your message on, some sand, and the bottle to put your message in, which is really cute because it has seashells dangling from it. This one is a new piece. I went to the antique store and I only had a couple of things, but the men working there convinced me to go and look again, and I ended up with this naked Ken. But he's not just any naked Ken. He has, I don't know if these will show up on camera, little yellow splotches all down his legs and feet. They're nowhere else on his body, just his legs. And I thought it was really weird, and I couldn't figure out why they would be there, so I bought him. Now we'll move on to some weird antiques and various different things that I found. This little baby doll came from Goodwill. I think she was $3. She is in great condition, except for one teeny tiny little stain on her dress that you probably can't even see. I did have trouble getting the marker off of her foot, so you can still see it a little bit, but it's not so bad. And I actually put her in this little rocking chair that I got at the same antique store. They ended up charging me $20, which I don't think was quite right, considering this arm was completely broken off when I bought it, but I had no idea that I would have to bargain, and so I was super uncomfortable. We'll move on to the set. I bought this whole set off of Etsy. It came with, this is actually not part of the set, but she included it and it goes well with the rest of it. This looks like red hot glue maybe, and I'm assuming this is a coyote bone of some sort because it definitely looks real, and I know that the woman selling them, or man, I'm not really sure, uses coyote bones in some of her other pieces. Part of that set was also this doll head in a jar. Looks like a Kelly doll. She's dirty and beheaded and creepy. It also came with these vintage dental teeth used for dentures and molars. I think most of them are either marked with dots, or I think a couple of them are marked with numbers, but those are pretty cool. Not real teeth. It also came with this creepy amputee doll. Yep. With dirty pants that are sort of worn out a little. And this leg is all white. I'm not really sure why, but I like it. And I don't know what happened to her arms. And finally from that set are, let's see if I can bring them over here. 1 second. Ooh. These blocks that spell mommy. One thing that didn't come with that, oh wait, there's one more thing in that set. This picture of just a really cute little girl from the 60s or 70s in an ornate peach colored frame. I don't keep it with the set just because it doesn't fit on that shelf, but it did come together. Now we'll move on to the thing that wasn't with that set, but that I keep with it because I think it looks neat and is relevant. This is The Psychology of Subnormal Children, which was published in 1920. which I think is amazing that I have something that old, especially a psychology book since I am very interested in psychology. This item, I nearly forgot about it. I also got it at the little antique store where I did not intend to spend much money. It's just a big boat and some kind of strange looking man and some water and grass. It almost looks like icing. I don't know what it's made out of, but it looks like icing. And I don't know why I bought it, but it was only $3, so oh well. I forgot yet another thing that came with that set, the set with the amputee doll and the doll leg and everything. It's this replica fetal skull. Keep in mind, it's not a real fetal skull. It's not real at all. This little guy I got at Goodwill after I had already made a purchase. He was underneath the counter at the front, and he caught my eye right away. The only thing that I don't love about him is that the words on him are not in English. But he is a pressure point figurine, and he came in a cool box, but it was kind of ripped, so it ended up in the trash. But he does stand up on my shelf next to my Ken doll. This little wine glass has a few different pieces of beach glass in it, all different colors. I think I have browns, whites, and greens right now, and one that looks a little pinkish, but I would love to fill it up all the way. Let's see if you can see it better if my shirt's not behind it. But it's nowhere near full yet. I've only just started collecting. I went to the beach once, and this is what I found. Next we'll move on to my bones and wet specimens and other taxidermy. This was actually one of the first pieces I bought for the collection, but it took a while to get here because it's one of a kind. It's a coyote skull, and it's missing quite a few teeth, including the canines, which is a bummer. But on this side, it is painted galaxy print in pink and green to match my room. Sorry. In pink and green to match my room, which I like. Way up here, I've got these three, I'll just show you one, tiny vials of various mouse bones. I'm assuming most of them are mice bones that I dissected out of an owl pellet. Like I said, I have three of that size, and then I've got this larger one that has the other bones that didn't fit in the tiny jar. I've got some ribs, pelvic bones, scapulas, and then finally I have the skulls. Most of them are broken up pretty bad, but you can still tell, at least on the one on the front, that it is a tiny skull. Moving on, we have, let's see, we'll start with this one. This is my two-headed duckling. When it was alive, it wasn't actually two-headed, but they are both real ducklings. And I haven't decided whether the names are Misha and Jensen or Misha and Hannibal. I really like the little black stripe on this one's head. And I'm thinking that this was the original head of the duckling, but the black stripe matches the black fuzz and the tail. So I'm not really sure. So wet specimen wise, I've got a few now. This one, I guess you could call it a wet specimen because it is preserved in alcohol. But if you remember from my beach video, I found this little Captain Morgan bottle and a dragonfly. So I pulled the dragonfly's wings off and preserved them in here. They probably won't show up very well on camera once again, but just know they're in there. After that, I've got this adult mouse. I actually kind of need to put them in a smaller jar. I have a few over here I could choose from. He's just a little white mouse that I got frozen from Petco over near the fish. I think they're intended for feeding to snakes and such. At the same time that I bought him, so at the same time that I bought the adult mouse, I bought 3 of these cute little baby mice that I preserved in these little beech nut baby food jars that I had left over from my hedgehog. I love the baby ones. This one's my favorite of the 3, just because his belly has these cute little wrinkles on it. I don't think you can see him. Okay, this guy, in the last video I demonstrated how to preserve a wet specimen, and this is the rat that I used to do that. I ended up transferring him to this jar and using the other jar for another specimen. His alcohol is actually a little low right now, but I can put more in there. His tail is really cool. So that's that one. And then I went back and I got another rat who's now in the big jar because I really wanted a black one. Not that I have a problem with the white ones, but I just want to mix it up a little bit. And I did finally get a black rat. Well, he's kind of grayish brown and his belly is still white, but he is really cute. I put a picture of him on Instagram and creeped some people out, but you can see his little teeth. Hopefully you can see his little teeth. It's hard to tell on the front camera if it's actually focusing or not. So I don't know until I actually watch the video. That's that one. Next I'll show you all of my empty jars and my setup. So excuse the rat and the mouse that I didn't put back yet, but these are all of my empty jars that I have right now that I would like to fill with wet specimens. This one I actually have something in mind for already from Etsy that I am hopefully buying very, very soon. It'll either go in this one or this one, which is my favorite right now. It is a glass even flow baby bottle. So for a fetal specimen, that would be perfect. Now I'll back up a little bit so you can see my whole setup. In the last video I showed all of this, except the light that I was using to light my video. All of that. But now I have something else. This bookshelf I found on Craigslist for $10, and it's been in that person's family for, I think she said, 3 generations, her and her mom and her mom's mom. So I'm very lucky to have it. And if you guys have any suggestions, or if you're selling anything that you think would fit well in any of these jars, please do not hesitate to let me know, because I would love to fill them all up.